the way Kabari International Airport is be, they acquire land at a cheaper price from the original landlords. Now they connive with these guys in different government MDAs to inflate the value of their properties, and the government ends up losing money. These are things that need to be addressed, other than trying to use Ugandans as a scapegoat so that we lose the little. Let government first fix their own mess, then they maybe make that proposal. When we all Ugandans have faith, absolute faith in our systems.
Yes, Councillor Boyd.
Well, in the case which was decided, I think, on Thursday, the Francis Zake case, the Constitutional Court stated, and I want to quote the words of the Honorable Justice Mulia Gonja. She said that the Speaker of Parliament gave caution to the wind. In other words, she was reckless and careless. Now, I want to advise the Professor Nyeko not to be careless. Actually, his statements are inciting violence. Actually, he should even be arrested for inciting violence. And he actually brings into question the role of the Uganda Land Commission. And it is even better that it should be disbanded, because what is it doing? It even has issues with the management and administration of the same.
But even that institution should be investigated, from all the way from Baguma Isoke to Nyaki Siki here to now Professor.
So I think there are fundamental issues which have to be dealt with. And so if a professor comes up with such a statement, I think he should make some research and know that there are officers of government who own lands, and actually big chunks of land, actually idle land here in Kazo, in Chiruhura here. People have hectares and hectares of idle land. Okay, so he should not be hoodwinked by the officers of government who form the mafia into thinking that the government has to cancel the freehold land titles, because the substance of what he's saying is that all titles or in freehold or certificates of customary ownership have to be revoked, and at what cost? So I invite the people of Uganda to stand up for their rights and fight for what they own. And that is their land.
In concert with what he's saying, I would also want to put it on record that maybe Professor is throwing a stone in the bush to see what will come out. Because as we talk of now, even maybe it's the mafias using him. Because even the Attorney General himself was asked the same thing, and he never gave any comment. He never said we are taking it up, we are taking it to Parliament, or what and what. But for me, what I would want the listener to know is that the land, whatever small land you have, that is the only permanent property that you own, that is yours, that you can say that I have. So for me, I don't even think that government of Uganda can really take this up. Even if they bring it up, it will face the greatest resistance, and this whole idea will be dropped and shelved.
Let's pick up more of the calls on 752-912-912 780-912-910. Call us right now and let's get to hear from you. On Twitter, Alan Bachinyenza is saying it's a very good idea, but too much corruption in this country will find investors and rich people sharing a very big portion of the citizens and poor people respectively. And yes, Murunji Jordan on Twitter, you're saying that could work, but not under this government. We have been having land grabbing piloted by government officials. Now government ownership of the land would be like serving them the warm flavored milk that they want. But yes, you're saying I think that would work. You at Maryhill High School. Agaba Jordan on Twitter, you tuned in from Nyakayojo. Thank you. Ian Mpwire Buhanga, corruption in Uganda, it will not work. Sankara Aldetons, you're saying the so-called powerful government officials have been grabbing land relentlessly. So what will happen when government is given all those powers, you're at Metropolitan International University? Mwesuga Brian, you're saying I don't support that idea because land has helped individuals in one way or the other. Calling on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Let's get to hear from you on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910 on the big set.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
I'm okay and you?
I am well, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm calling in India.
Yes. Thank you so much for listening in. All right. Let's stop for a break. When we come back on that final lap of the show, don't touch your radio because so much is still on your way. I'll get back to your feedback messages and give you an opportunity to call in once again on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. You'll be able to watch on Cruise TV whatever is happening here. Good morning.
Bold, it's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
28 minutes past 10 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music, great friends. Good morning. My name is Wesley Gabanyaji. Now, if I told you you're listening to the radio for the very first time, the Cruise FM is on 912 Cruise FM on Twitter and 91.2 Cruise FM on Facebook. Cruise TV is where you can be able to catch the television, where you get to see whatever happens here on Plot 12 Multilane Studios. My name is Wesley Gabanyaji. The conversation this morning has been on the proposal by the chairperson of the Uganda Land Commission, Professor Nyeko Modi, on government taking over ownership of all land in the country, especially idle land. Now, what is in there to solve is where government wants to carry out particular projects on land, but it cannot because individuals that own this land either cannot accept the adequate compensation by government in accordance to Article 26 of the Constitution, or they simply do not want the projects to come up and they frustrate them. This move is geared to make sure there is efficiency in service delivery and the taxpayers' money is given value for it. With me in studio is Council Wenje Devs, Mr. Simu Evandizi and Mr. Peter Mpaka. You can be able to call in on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Let's look at what we think should be the best alternative, where individuals can still get the benefit of ownership of land, but projects of government still can go on seamlessly without any limitations by the people of Uganda. Council Wenje.
Yeah, I want to reiterate that land is the only thing that you can own. And what the professor is saying is, I think, is not thought about. I think he's acting on impulse. He does not know the consequences of a citizen not having land. People are going to become violent. See, and see, land is almost the only thing that you can own, because even if they quote and unquote steal it, it stays there. You can recover it in courts of law. So I want to be very specific and categorical, and warn the land professor that he should not dance to the tunes of the mafia. Their intentions are not in good faith. They are actually against the common good, which is pronounced under Article 8A of the Constitution. And let's not forget that on the 29th of October 2015, the Supreme Court of the land stated that Section 7 of the Land Acquisition Act was unconstitutional. Now, that section allows government to take land without first compensating you. And that is the case of the Uganda National Roads Authority versus Irumba Asuman. I think it's Constitutional Appeal number 2 of 2014. So what the government is trying to do is to bring back the same unconstitutional section of the law by amending the Constitution, which of course would be contrary to Article 92 of the Constitution. So I want to warn the people of Uganda, especially those in government, that the words of the professor are not in the interests of the people of Uganda, and he should, I think, read the preamble of the Constitution, that recording the history of our country, which has been plagued by war and instability. Land, if you go to courts of law, around 95% of cases have their basis in land. So land, the issues of land are a major cause of case backlog. So he is trying to kind of ignite a scenario where there's violence in Uganda, especially between the private people and the officers of government. And as we head into the elections, I don't want the president of Uganda to use it as a card to mobilize resources. Okay, of course, in terms of social capital and so forth. He should also be aware that without land, a common person is at the mercy of government. And the Bill of Rights, which is in our Constitution, springs right back from the Magna Carta of 1215, which actually enshrined in Article 5 thereof the protection of private property. So private property, especially land, must be at the core of any democratic institution. And the fact that we are trying to aspire to achieve a full democratic state, issues of expropriation, eminent domain in the interest of public health, public defense, public morality, public order, must be exercised only in exceptional circumstances and not as a general rule. So I am against the proposed amendment of the Constitution, because it is not in the interests of the people of Uganda and the country at large.
All right, thank you so much, Councillor Wenze. Peter Mpaka, way forward, we want a two-way win-win situation for both government and private landowners.
For me, I would think that government of NRM should try to be as transparent as possible. Fight the mafias, and if you have a project you want to implement that is for public good, let it be evaluated transparently, without people hearing that there are people hiding behind others trying to steal somebody's land. Then secondly, I would want that land is who we are. Even in the national anthem it is there, even on the coat of arms it is there. It is one of the characteristic symbol of a country, of a nation.
We can even go back to 1978, 79 when Amin was put out of power because of a matter of land, invading their Kagera, wanting to annex it to Uganda.
Yes, exactly. So that's what I was going to say, that a government is even charged with protecting the territorial integrity of a country or of a nation as it is. And in doing that, you're also charged with protecting persons and their property, one of which is land. Like Council has said, that we have so many cases in court, and all of them or most of them have a hinge on land. So for me, I would say, let's become a transparent society. Let's fight corruption. Let's not target a group, because for me, I still feel that Uganda is being targeted in this. Because when you try to follow even debates that were there in 2017, 2018, 2020, the issue was always Kabaka. And now you have his friend Mabidi is coming out again suing the Kabaka over Busuru. So I don't know why government is uncomfortable with this small money that Uganda under their Mairo tenure system are collecting, maybe from people who are there. I think the president is right when he says do not evict people. Let's always find a way, which is Uganda is doing, finding a way of making sure that it's not a problem. It's not a problem. Actually, their Milo tenure system contributes about less than 10%. I think it's 9% of the whole land mass in the country. So let's not hide these so-called Professor Nyekos and try to fight or trying to target a certain grouping of people. We are all Uganda. We are one people. That's why I always rephrase or talk about the phrase of the FDC. One people, one Uganda.
All right, thank you. Asima Bandisi, on the element of how government can continue to provide service delivery to the people of Uganda and still respect the law in terms of ownership to land by private individuals in this country.
Thank you, Banyaji. You see, sometimes I'm brutally honest. And I know even today when I live here, some people in NRM will call to ask if I'm still NRM. I'm NRM, but I'm pro-people and I'm a Ugandan first. Being a Ugandan is above being NRM. This concerns us all as Ugandans. And honestly speaking, when it comes to the framers of the grand norm, our 1995 constitution as amended, it's one of the best globally. And when it comes to the issues of land, if you interest yourself in the preamble of that very beautiful document, no one should tamper with our current land systems. They are functional in the interest of Ugandans, they are functional in the interest of government. Because all of us here agree there isn't any government project that has failed to take off because of resistance by the citizens of Uganda. Foreigners, investors, all of them come here, they get land on this basis. Actually, interestingly, Banyaji, if you did a research, a small one here in Imbara, even refugees, Uganda is the only country where a refugee will buy a plot of land and put up a structure. That's why we are the US of Africa. So I don't want us to be made to believe. Yeah, I don't want us to be made to believe. What I'm saying is true. We are the biggest hosting country of refugees. If you look at the number of nationalities in Uganda moving freely, mushrooming. So I mean what I'm saying. That's why Uganda is more attractive to them. So I think Professor is being misguided and he needs to do research, I know. most of those people in academia are good at research. They have several research assistants. But I would agree with you, Banyaji, the way you said the Rand Commission itself needs to be investigated. Because there is a lot that desires to be done. There are very many unanswered questions. They are using Mairoland as an excuse. Actually, when you look at the busuru that people pay who are occupying Buganda land, it's the cheapest money that you will ever pay in regards to renting or using someone's land. Actually, Buganda is doing us a favor because they are hosting multitudes of Ugandans and foreigners on their land.
But there are proponents that say it's still against the majority of Ugandans because they got it out of an injustice, historical injustice.
Banyaji, let's not.
The whites came here and appropriated land and gave them free land.
Actually, they never gave them free land. Actually, they lost some land under that arrangement. If you interest yourself in the history of this country, and we all know that, it's a propaganda that is being used. And actually in Uganda, Buganda is among the most hospitable, very receiving people. Because even when you look at their Ruchiko, their parliament, the parliament of Buganda, they even have Indians in it. People from other ethnic backgrounds. They have no problem with it. So let's not use them as an excuse. Because it's a very small fraction of Uganda's land. When you go to the north, when you go to the east, we had a caller here from Bukedia. You had his testimony. And these are true stories. Banyaji, I've told you, every district that you go to, you will find people complaining that government land has been parceled out to individuals. Which individuals, the majority of them are well connected to government or actually government officials. We shall not mention names here, but we know some ministers that have been implicated. So, our antenna systems, Mairo, leasehold, customary, and the freehold, they are very okay. And it's one of the reasons as to why our economy is performing, Banyaji. If you tamper with them right now, it will crash our economy.
And I also have a small message here from Simile Godwin. He says that the riches of our people in Nyakayozo or in Imbarara or in Uganda at large is land. So if the land is taken away, that will make our people even more poorer.
When we come back, it will be to close up the show, but slightly into the second topic of the show after these messages. Good morning.
It's tough, it's bold, it's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great friends.
15 minutes to 11 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music. Great friends. It's the conversation that we've had is about land, and we think we should engage a second gear. President, while addressing the NRM caucus, called on the Minister of Finance to come up with a statutory instrument that would regulate the percentage of interest that money launderers, call them sharks, charge the people of Uganda, especially the vulnerable groups that borrow from these individuals. Council Gwenje, these individuals that have microfinance institutions have actually been given the mandate to trade under licenses issued by the central bank. The president calling on to cap the interest upon which they can charge their customers, isn't it in violation of basic economic tenets?
Okay, no. Because actually the president should be asking the Minister of Finance, why haven't you made a statutory instrument to specify the maximum interest rate payable? Because under Section 5 and 90 of the Tier 4 Microfinance Institutions and Money Lenders Act of 2016, now there's no maximum interest rate. So the duty to specify maximum interest rate is given to the Minister of Finance by when he or she makes a statutory instrument. Now, because of that vacuum, now lenders, and of course I want to specify that it is only a company which can lend money as a business. So it is illegal for a person to lend money at an interest in the process of making of lending money as a business to lend money. It is illegal, and even if you were to sue a debtor, you don't have any remedy in court if you do not have a money lender's license. So it means you must be a company. You must be a company licensed by the Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority to lend money.
Perhaps now, a listener would want to know.
Yes.
However, equitably, if at all you and I consent,
it doesn't
over
mean
a contractual agreement.
Yes, it
to
does
borrow
not,
money.
Yes, and
how
lend
then
money.
would it be justice that
Now-
courts are supposed to
now-
perpetrate if at all that money cannot be gotten back to the person that gave
Yes,
it?
yes, because nothing arises out of an illegality. So the law as it is, it does not stop a friendly loan agreement. You and I can have
Agree.
a transaction, but we must be careful that the law actually doesn't even stop us from including interest in the transaction.
Absolutely not.
What it does is to include interest as a way of, you see, so the lender must not be engaged in the business of lending money if she or he is not a company. So I think the president is in order. He should prevail over his Minister of Finance to issue a statutory instrument.
But if at all it is a matter
setting
of
the maximum.
exploitation,
Now,
Council Gwenje, there are so many
before
sectors of our
2016,
economy that need regulation.
Let me
If it is
let me wind up.
exploitation,
Let me wind up.
no, get it. If at all it is exploitation that the president wants to cap, then how about going in all other different sectors? Where is the salary wage, the minimum wage? If at all it is about a matter of welfare of Ugandans,
You see,
there is so much exploitation everywhere.
The interest is defined as the cost of borrowing money, and there's no country which can survive when people don't lend and borrow.
Absolutely.
So where the problem is that the interest rates which are being charged by SACCOs and banks are unconscionable, unfair. They are even above the central bank lending rate.
But the president did not talk about those, the tier one institutions that lend to individuals, like commercial banks. He's talking about loan sharks.
Now you see, a loan shark, I don't know if it also includes a company, but now you see, before 2016, the maximum interest rate was 24% per year.
Per annum.
Now that is 2% per month. But when that Money Lenders Act was repealed, they did not specify the maximum interest rate. So there's still vagueness in the law. Now that vagueness has been harnessed and exploited by people who think that they are sharp, and they charge 30% interest rate, 40%. But also we should not forget that people are not forced to take go and lend or borrow. They come when they are
willing.
Yes.
Yes.
But of course, the fact that they are not forced, it doesn't mean that they should be exploited.
All right, thank
They
you.
deserve a fair and just and conscionable interest rate. So I think the president has not been aware of what is happening in his own country. He has not been aware, because
right,
since
thank you.
2016 this vagueness has been there. So I think he's waking up late.
All right.
He's waking up late.
Peter Mpaka.
And yet he's the biggest consumer of intelligence. So why is he coming up 7 years later? Where has he been?
Government, especially President Museveni, every financial year go to multinational corporations, the World Bank and the money lenders. We saw they had literally borrowed from a Nairobi individual just yesterday. Where does he get the audacity to put limits and caps on people that are trying to trade around this economy? Yet government borrows in itself with huge interests.
From them, even government borrows from them.
Yes.
So I think there must be some money lenders who are in his neck and he's looking for how to curb them. For me, nyendagamba nk'omuntu wa bulijo wesije, I will not go so elite like my friend Council, who is quoting very complicated clauses in the constitution here. Mwenu bantu mwabaturikiriza manelenda weno wokura izina lyo mu runyankore nikafuna noba wazo woha owa kafuna. So for him, his target is to see that he squeezes you and gets yes for him or her when I nangu akwiye byawe. So yes, no, that is it. For me,
let's allow him.
Nyedagamba from my own testimonies and from people I've heard and experienced, where somebody borrows emitwalo nshanju akigarakayo abamujyango bamubanja miliyoni 14 akijatire miliyoni 14 zanyu zinaza bamujyango eriye itakeru watire actually ukasigninga ngo watuguza so tukarutwara over somebody who borrowed 7,000.
A matter of sufficiency and adequacy.
That is a different thing. A sale transaction. No, actually, it is a loan transaction. This guy does a sale transaction. That is fraud.
That's fraud.
Yes,
but that's what they do.
No, fraud. Now that is not the general rule.
That's what they do.
Exception.
Let's allow that.
Okay.
Thank you. What Peter Mpaka is saying, all of us and our dear listeners, it's the bitter truth. Banyaji, we know the majority of Ugandans are not aware of their rights, are not aware of the provisions of these statutory
But Asimwe Bandis,
and the law.
this is something very basic that
Yeah,
I want you very landed people to help me understand.
I'm building.
You are a borrower.
Let me
You
build my background, Banyaji.
you go to my friend Bright Muhumusa that we all know trades that.
Yes,
And you say you borrow from him.
Yes,
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you write an agreement.
And we are trying
You
to help.
consent.
yes, and
Banyaji,
you even have
Banyaji,
And even have a guarantor.
Banyaji,
Then what is the problem?
we are trying to help
There's
our
nothing
people,
wrong there.
and we are trying to shed more light on that,
Yes.
so that they stop being duped. And me, at times, my brutality, when it comes to critiquing objectively, has costed me opportunities, multiple opportunities. The president is as late as yesterday, and this thing is overdue. And that's why I'm bitter with this systematic corruption embedded in our systems. Don't think that the line minister does not know that he has to come up with a statutory instrument in regards to this. Honestly speaking, it's quite unfair for someone to charge 10, 15, 20, 30 interest % per month. And to make matters
But there are institutions that offer less interest. Why don't you go to those?
Banyaji, that's what I was coming to. That's what I was coming to.
Yeah, let's not heckle. Let's not heckle.
Let's behave. Let's behave and be
Oh,
civil.
body today.
As I conclude, Banyaji, what I was coming to, there is a vacuum in our financial institutions. There is a vacuum when you look at the red tapes of borrowing. I, for one, have been borrowing since 2010 when I finished university. Not every Ugandan has collateral security. Not every Ugandan has a stable cash flow, because these financial institutions will give you money basing on your cash flows bankings. When you look at our current tax regime, Banyaji, people who are no longer interested in borrowing are running away, shying away from banking money. Because when you bank money, today if I sell rand and that money is deposited on my account, it will be caveated and I cannot access my money. I have to first write to the manager explain. So as I conclude, let the minister do it. This thing will protect both the lender and the borrower.
Okay, thank you.
And it's not contested anywhere.
Thank you.
And finally, Banyaji, there are genuine money lenders, and there are also these sharks, who are people who are after people's property. They lend you money, force you to make